What's up, guys? Dusty Shaw, Holistic Fitness and Nutrition, back for another video. Gonna drop some mental jewels on you guys. All right, this is just some, universal laws and truths that I've found from much smarter men than myself, and I've put them into practice in my life and found them to be true. So then I employ them into my clients' lives. So for those that may be new to my channel, I run an online fitness coaching business where I basically write up my customers' meal plans, training plans, and lifestyle plans, fully customized based on their individual needs. And so everything that I employ through them, I first vet through myself. All right. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the main things that will benefit anyone. And I just want to first start out with the idea of comfort being our enemy. And I'm going to illustrate quite a few examples, all right? Why do we take ice baths? Why do I take cold showers, ice baths, get in the sauna? Because it strengthens the mind and body. I could go into much more specifics. They reduce inflammation, boost your immune system, strengthen the vagus nerve. I could go on and on. Breath work. These three activities I just mentioned, cold exposure, heat exposure, breath work, are so powerful that they've had to go through our universities and change in the science that our autonomic nervous system was titled autonomic because we thought it was autonomous, that we didn't have control over it. We used to know we have control over it. Listen to Hippocrates, the founder of medicine. All right? We have this really skewed idea that people back in ancient times were primitive and dumber than we are, but it's actually the opposite. They were, if you go back far enough, they were in the golden advanced age. We found, just look at the pyramids, all right? That should be all you need to look at to see how much more advanced, or how we found computer chips that were hundreds of thousands of years old in the ruins from Atlantis. All right, and all the stories that were handed down of how they had extraterrestrial vehicles, and all these different cultures described them looking exactly the same, both the extraterrestrial aliens and the vehicles, and their cave carvings, people that weren't in touch with each other. How do they all look the same? How do they describe them all the same? It's because this was true at one time. We were passed down advanced knowledge. All right, now where I'm going with this is these people knew a lot more. And as we've entered into the Kali Yuga, which is the world view is in cycles, So we're at the last cycle of life, which is the Kali Yuga. This is the one where man has become decadent and dumber than ever. And you can see this. Nobody can get along on anything virtually, right? All right. People don't even know what gender they are anymore. Things have gotten so ridiculous. All right. But the point is, back then we lived in tune with nature, and nature taught us things. Nowadays, we lived in these air-conditioned and heated homes, vehicles, so we're never exposed to extreme cold or extreme heat or extreme activity that requires deep breath work. And no one's practicing true yoga or meditation or breath work here in the West, hardly. So what's happened? People have become weak. The body has become feeble. Give you an extreme example of how you can understand this very easily. It shouldn't be controversial. What happens when an elderly person retires and begins to stop moving their body, and they decay and they end up in a nursing home and become bedridden, their body becomes completely useless, and they don't live much longer, and the life they live is one of suffering, and they're suffering needlessly. But it's because of this too much comfort. I know this from firsthand experience. I grew up wrestling, amateur boxing, then got into MMA, went professional. So I lived a life of extreme exertion, physical activity. I knew hard work. That's all I knew. My last professional fight, I tore my knee. I've told this story before, and I was prescribed opiate pain medication and benzodiazepines, anti-anxiety medication. I didn't need it for the physical pain of the knee, but I was dealing with some trauma at the time, which I've talked about before. It's also in my book, 30 Days to Stronger, if you want to check it out. It's in the links in my description. Free on Amazon if you have Kindle. But basically, I'll just give you a quick recap. I found my mom overdosed and dead. My longtime girlfriend I was about to propose to left me, and then I tore my knee and lost my fighting career and my whole identity. A lot of times people can handle one major event, but 2, 3, it's enough to break any man, just about. And so I took these medications to numb myself emotionally, to cope emotionally. What I didn't, and I loved it. I loved the pleasure, the comfort, all of that. But what I didn't understand, because I thought I was too strong, I thought I was impervious to this, is that comfort just creeped in and slowly killed me like a cancer. It was horrible. It was no more than 6 months' time, definitely less than a year, I had become completely bedridden in my room. Depressed, isolated, couldn't be around people. And that's where the comfort got me. Look at the kid that does nothing but play video games and abuse food, eating disorder, becomes overweight, bedridden. He's miserable. Comfort has killed him. All right? You're basically a walking dead man. All right? This is why it's a really good, once again, life is cyclical, right? Hard men create good times. Good times create soft men. Soft men create weak or hard times, and then hard times create strong men. And you see this going around and around. And what do you see? Is anybody shocked at where we're at now? You know, we're at the stage of weak men have controlled this, taken this country over and destroyed our society. We are literally watching the ends of America. This country has been destroyed internally. We don't have much time left. All right? And it's best you embrace that and start preparing, stocking up on food, guns, ammunition, because we don't have much more time. You know, anyone with a brain that's even remotely aware of what's going on knows this is coming. Just watch that predictive programming movie the Obamas just put out, Left Behind, where they predicted coming cyber attacks. Klaus Schwab and them was talking about it at the World Economic Forum in Davos Group. And what just happened last week? Our first major cyber attack. So this is what happens in life. Now, how to apply it at a personal level, because we don't have control over these external things. We can only change ourselves. All right? You have to start embracing hard stuff. If all you do is sleep in, lay in a comfortable bed, wake up, eat donuts, sugary donuts, and drink toxic coffee. And I mean, no wonder your day is going to be shit after that. You just started your day as horribly as you possibly can. What did you do while you were sleeping that required all of them calories? From an evolutionary standpoint, the reason we wake up in the morning and continue to fast is because our body kicks on to overdrive. It goes into the sympathetic state to increase our senses for fight or flight, to go find prey to eat. All right? If you wake up and completely satiate yourself and then go over into gluttony, well, then you're not going to be in that state, that hyper alert state and flow state, to be productive at work. All right? This is why they know this, that Silicon Valley and billionaires and top successful people will all tell you they fast all day. They fast throughout their workday because that's when your senses are at their highest. All right? Try it. It's not just going to benefit your health. It's going to benefit your work productivity. It'll benefit every area of your life. And so then we look at going back to the climate-controlled homes and vehicles. All right? I'm not saying you can't partake in that. All right? Who wants to lay in their house sweating to death? But no. All right? This is what hormesis is. All right? If you go live in a sauna, you're going to die. You're not even going to make it a whole day. All right? That would be too long exposure of chronic inflammation. But short exposures to chronic inflammation, hormesis, will make you grow and more tolerant of it, and in turn actually reduce your inflammation. So what you can do is go hit a sauna a few times a week, hit an ice bath or cold shower a few times a week. If it's really cold outside or really hot outside, go for a walk or hike. All right? But the body has to be exposed to temperatures because it strengthens it. If it's never exposed to the elements that we were made of, then it is going to weaken. This is why you will see in rituals, you will always see fires. Because the fire, when we stand around the fire, that rekindles the fire element within us. All right? And how many of you? This is the problem with drugs and alcohol and junk food. They dwindle that fire. You know, I know what it's like to be at that place where your fire, that your flame is completely went out and you don't even know how to get it to ignite again because you've indulged in too much comfort. First thing you have to do is cut the comfort out and go through the pain. You can't run from it. Anything you resist will persist. So, do hard shit every day. You hear all the top leading men of today talking about it. Wes Watson, Jocko Willink, David Goggins, they're all telling you the same thing. It's no coincidence that they're successful and you're not. All right? You have to do hard shit because it builds discipline. Mike Tyson quoted discipline as doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it. And that's people's biggest problem in this country because we got so much caught up in feelings. It doesn't matter what you feel like. You can do it anyway. Like, what does how you feel have to do with what you do? Oh, I don't feel like going into work, or I don't feel like doing this or that. It's like your emotions have nothing to do with it. You either need to do this or you don't. You can either do it feeling great or you can do it feeling terrible. Either way, it's going to have the same result. You're just either going to be happy or miserable through it. But either way, it has to be done if you want to be successful in your life. All right, so we have to embrace hard shit. This is why I'm such a component of a fitness-based recovery. Not to shit on the 12 steps, these different, programs. They've helped a lot of people, and so God bless them. If that's worked for you, then great. Keep at it, and I will never bash that. All right? Did not work for me. In fact, it's well over 50% of people that get clean and stay clean do it without recovery, without 12-step recovery. So you're more likely to get clean and sober without it. But still, Different strokes for different folks. If it works for you, then great. All right? Especially if you're socially motivated, you're really extroverted and you really need attention from other people. All right? If you're that type of person, then that may be in line with you. But if you're more introverted like me, and you're more goal-oriented in life, and you like to think about ideas and business and growth versus just gossiping with people, it's not going to work for you. You know, it wasn't until I got away from that I was able to get clean, and I embraced a fitness-based recovery. I heard Wes Watson say one time, he said, you don't have a drug problem or an alcohol problem or a gambling problem. You have a discipline problem. And I found that to be true. You have to build your discipline up. Start getting up at the same time every day. Start planning your day out and checking off as you do this. This is scientifically proven to increase dopaminergic response. All right, it's going to release dopamine, which is what drugs release that make you feel good, just in smaller amounts. But every time you do something you say you're going to do, you become more likely to follow through with things. The contrary, every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, it gets harder and harder. And next thing you know, you'll find yourself a person like I have and many others that their word doesn't mean shit. All right? I had to rebuild my word. Something very important to me. But I had lost it at one time through this. It's called the law of diminishing intent. That just refers to every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, it becomes harder and harder. And also you lose trust in your loved ones and respect. And if there's one thing a man needs, is to feel like he is needed and respected among his loved ones. All right? You have to earn that. Respect is earned and rent is due daily. This is what I do on my coaching program. I write up people's customized workout plans, meal plans, and lifestyle plans, so sleep and wake cycles, and I coach them through it. The same way that I had Wes Watson coach me through it and many others, and have spent the past 10 years coaching others and learning this, you know. And you don't just see my client, you see on my social media where my clients just get jacked, but that's not all it is. When you look better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you treat others better. So I didn't just help them get a better body. Now they're better spouses. They're better parents. They're better employers. All right? It's the most rewarding thing ever. And likewise, you guys help me in return because it's what keeps me accountable to live this lifestyle. Last thing I want to leave you with is something very, very telling. It is called the Pottinger's cat experiment. In the mid-1900s, a doctor wanted to see, as processed foods were taking over, he switched cats. Only variable is he switched cats from their real food to processed food. And then they switched their mother's milk to pasteurized milk that we give humans in the store. Would you know, by the third generation, so if this was in the 1950s, by the 1990s or whatever, almost all the cats had become either transgender, meaning males thought they were females and females thought they were males, or they were homosexual, or both. And they also completely lost their athletic ability and became extremely lazy. Now what's interesting about that is it was just about 3 generations ago where the FDA came in and started recommending all through public schools and television and every marketing campaign you could find, the worst diet ever, which is the SAD, standard American diet. It's completely inverted. They tell you to eat the worst possible foods you can in bulk, which are grains. Remember, wheat, barley, rye, and oatmeal are the worst foods you can possibly consume. They contain high amounts of gluten, and phytocides. All right, both phytocides and gluten kill the microvilli in your intestines, and which are responsible for absorbing nutrients. So they keep you from absorbing nutrients. So they're telling you to eat the bulk of your diet and the worst possible foods ever, which you should be eating none of. And they tell you the most quality foods you could be eating, which is high quality meats, is what you should be eating the least of. So no protein, no healthy fats, just eat sugar and gluten. Now what's happened after 3 generations of that? And also, this is when they started heavily pushing mothers to not breastfeed and instead give toxic baby formula. Now, since that was about 4 generations ago, what's the new phenomenon you see now, guys? That we've never seen in the history of humanity. Mass gender confusion and sexuality. Just think about that. This has never been a phenomenon ever in the history of man, and now nobody knows what gender they are. Not only do they not know if they're a male or female, they can change from day to day. They can be other things. There's 87 something pronouns last I checked. It lines right up with the Pottinger's cat experiment. If you don't think this was done by design, you're not very bright. Look it up. This stuff's intentional. And if we don't get serious, if we don't get real serious and stop playing these games of extreme tolerance and turning a blind eye to everything, while everything goes to shit, we're going to lose our country and our culture. We're very close to it. I quite frankly don't think we can make a comeback. But not going down without a fight, without trying. So I just say that to educate you guys. That's more important than ever to feed yourself real quality whole foods, and especially your children. They're putting high amounts of estrogen in foods for boys to become feminine, and high amounts of testosterone and growth hormone promoting effects for women to become more masculine and overdeveloped. This is all cleared research. Everyone wanted to joke on Alex Jones when he said that they were making the frogs gay in the waterways. Everyone thought that was so funny and mocked him. Come to find out, what he said is a fact. It's been declassified by the government that they are intentionally making the frogs gay. It was an experiment before they put it on us. So that's how crazy things have gotten, guys. Stay hard, stay vigilant, avoid comfort at all cost. Seek to be truly hard. Love you guys. Please just do me one favor. Subscribe to my channel. Like, share, and encourage others to subscribe. You guys probably know my story where I had a over 70,000 subscribed channel that was a good portion of my income and drew my clients in, and I was censored and deleted unfairly and unjustly for something I told the truth about. So please help me build my new channel back up, and I will never charge. I will always give you this content for free, and drop below any questions you have.